Statuser low gain or whatever.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently.
I may have to resort to magic next.
Oh? What was all that nonsense with the Darkspawn blood and mages then? A puppet show? It seems to me that magic has already failed. I'd recommend a sharp knife in the kidneys next time. Less impressive, but it gets the job done.
The plan loses something when you are the one suggesting it.
I suppose it does lack the element of surprise. Well, what shall we do to settle things between us then?
Just do what I told you to.
Or what? You'll kill me? Go ahead. The joining was my death sentence anyway. It's hardly my fault that it failed to produce the desired result, Warden.
You're a great warden now, too, you know.
Indeed, I'd almost forgotten that. Thank you for the reminder. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me? I can't imagine that you spared my life in the Landsmeet by accident. You have some plan in mind.
You tell me, what do you want?
What I want? What an odd question. I want to ride back to Denerim and sit in the war room and find no empty chairs at the table. I want to lose, nothing else. I want a line, clearly drawn, that I can defend. I want an end to this war. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen. But if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it.
He's a little short, isn't he? You're going to have to prove your worth here.
I never doubted that. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting.
Okay. 24. Okay.
Did you want something?
Why do you hate Darth so much?
Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate?
It sounds like hate to me.
You won't believe me when I tell you this, but it doesn't matter. I never fought because I hated Orlais. This was for Merrick and for Reldon.
Merrick is dead.
What does that matter? He was my king. More importantly, he was my friend. Death doesn't end that.
But you fought Orlais when they weren't the enemy.
I made a tactical error.
So you started a civil war because of it?
I didn't want to start a war, I wanted to stop one. I failed. So I suppose my intentions don't amount to much.
I want to ask you something else. No, let's say the other one. All of that is in the past.
The past is always with us. It's in our bones and our blood, and we wear it on our skin. You can think otherwise, but you'll never get far without it.
It's true. I suppose you're right.
It's odd to hear you say that. I can still see the accusations you haven't voiced hovering around you like a swarm of hornets. For what it's worth, though, thank you. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
You wanted to ask something fast.
Go ahead.
How well did you know Marek?
He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge.
How did you meet him?
I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground.
What was he running from?
The traitorous bootlickers who'd just murdered the Queen, though I didn't know it at the time. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp.
And that boy was Marek, of course.
Yes. I didn't find out who he was for a while, though. But I've rattled on for too long already. We should get moving.
What make Marek such a great king, other than his desire to bang elves?
There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Marek was remarkable. That's all I can say of him.
Why didn't he acknowledge Alista?
He nearly did. Marek was never one to avoid his duty. And given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Marek made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that.
First one is so funny. But Kaelin took a peasant's daughter as queen.
I was turned by then, and a general. You can buy respect through birth or by bloodshed, I've found. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving.
A peasant. I want to ask something else.
Go ahead.
What would you have done if you've won the what? The war? Or the duel?
I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south.
But the border was in no danger.
It's easy to say now. When Chevaliers were massing on our doorstep, things were a little less clear.
How could you fight like your forces?
We couldn't, especially after Ostagar. It wasn't an ideal plan, but it seemed necessary at the time.
And the throne?
There was never any question in my mind that Honora would remain on the throne. After all, who else was there? Marek had no brothers or sisters. Most of the Therans were publicly hung by Megran when he took power.
Okay. I would like to ask something else.
Go ahead.
Don't you think Honora will make a good queen?
Honora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now.
Then why did you take power from her?
Whatever she might think, I never took power from Honora. She may have felt threatened, but I most pointedly did not remove her from the throne. In all seriousness, Honora is formidable. You should know that by now.
Of course. Will the bands follow her?
They always have before. Few among the nobles have ever been under any illusions as to who really held power in Denerim. Anora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things.
Fine, let's talk about something else.
By all means.
When you're really going to kill your own daughter?
Anora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard.
I knew I should have trusted her.
It took you this long to determine that? I'm surprised.
Why me, though?
Is that a serious question? Is there someone else you know of who could stand up to the Landsmeet?
So I broke into a royal palace for nothing.
Well, I'm sure having you come to her rescue gave Anora no small amount of pleasure.
I suppose we should move on.
Of course.
Minor strength. He was defeated in single combat at the Landsmeet and sentenced to undertake the joining ritual. He survived and rejoined the fight for Ferelden as a Grey Warden. Again has defined himself by the orders he seeks to maintain and expand. He's the tactician and likes pouring over maps, both ancient and modern.
Oh, hello. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Maybe. I would like to talk about what happened today.
It's nothing. I'm fine. I'm just thinking.
What about?
I can't get what happened out of my head. I'd been in Lothering for years, and she still thought I was plotting against her. She didn't trust me. Maybe she never did. She loved me when she could use me and control me. And now that she can't, she wants me dead. It hurts to realize that I never really knew her.
Maybe you did, but didn't want to admit it.
I knew she was ruthless, but I didn't know how far she could go. She is self-serving, cruel. She uses people, then discards them. But that's how she survives in the life she leads. What if she's right? What if we're the same? I should just have stayed in the Chantry.
And you think that would have made it better?
You don't understand. I forgot my life as a bard while I was in the cloister. I felt safe. I didn't have to watch my back all the time. That's what made Marjolaine the person she is, don't you see? It ruined her. It will ruin me too. It's already happened. When we killed her, I enjoyed it. Seeing her dead gave me satisfaction.
So, she deserved it.
But that is no reason to rejoice over her death. That is what she would do. I don't want that. What we're doing, what we've done, hunted men down, killed them. Part of me loves it. It invigorates me, and this scares me. I feel myself slipping.
You are not sleeping. This is who you are.
I admit that I took great pleasure in the intrigue back in Orlais. It was dangerous and chaotic and exciting, but it destroyed my life. I thought the Chantry showed me another path. I thought I was done with this life. Am I wrong?
You are not a Chantry sister. You're a bard, a spy.
There is this thought that floats into my mind constantly. That I lie when I say the chantry gave me peace, when in truth it bored me. Here, with you, knowing the freedom of the road and the uncertainty of tomorrow, I feel alive again.
Deep down, you know, this is where you belong, Liliana.
I would like to be alone for now. I have many things to consider. Thank you for listening to me.
Fucking craziness.
Do you remember our discussion?
Of course.
I just wanted to tell you that I thought about what you told me, and you were right. I didn't want to admit it, even to myself, but those years in Lothering, I yearned for the freedom and the recklessness that I knew in Orlais. The Maker made the world beautiful, but he also made it dangerous. To really experience it, I have to embrace this, not hide away in some nunnery.
You are not meant for a cloister. You never were.
Sometimes, it takes another to show us the truths we hide from ourselves.
So, do I get a reward?
My eternal gratitude and friendship? I've already pledged myself to your cause, so I can't give that again.
But you can give something else. Ooh. I'm sure there is more you can give me.
I have a half-eaten hill of bread and some cheese from breakfast. You want those? No?
She turned me down. She's afraid of Morrigan.
Something I can help with?
I would like to talk.
Yes? What's on your mind?
Never mind. Let's go for the dwarf.
What do you want?
Something's bothering you. I can tell.
Aye, people talking when I'm trying to have a sudden quiet moment. That really twists my nut. Did you want to talk about something?
Yes?
What about?
Nothing.
All right.
Goodbye.
Aye, all right then.
That was strange. Let's try this again.
Ass chaps. Ass chaps.
What's on your mind?
Let's talk out the circle.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
Nah. Then I will miss you so much. My good friend.
What is your wish, Kadan?
I want to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
Uh,
Then I suggest we move on.
Question?
I am hardly surprised.
Never mind.
Very well.
Goodbye.
As you wish.
One of the best characters. Up there with HK-47.
So, full of questions, are you?
No. Let's go. Time for the fucking golem. I always forget. Eat.
Oh,
I have questions.
it doesn't have better things to do.
No.
On then.
Ah, that was quick. Onwards. To Radcliffe. It is him. Here.
Indeed.
Yes.